It was funny. There was a scene where they were showing, I guess it was the Olympia. I think it was the Olympia was it New York maybe? I don't even know. But Sinbad was remember they got Sinbad, the comedian?
Yeah. Sinbad
and Ben was so worried. He's like, hell, Sinbad, no dirty jokes. and Sinbad's handler is like, I can't tell him. He doesn't listen to me. He does what he wants. He's like, no dirty jokes, no dirty jokes. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
You're funny.
Like I said, do you like my tail?
Like I said, what's up, John? Yeah. What's up, Lee Priest?
What's up?
We are here for another.
What? He was here a minute ago.
I disconnected myself.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Dave.
Welcome back to the show, Dave.
Thank you. It's funny, when I disconnect myself, it switches my camera. I have two camera views here, but I like this one better.
Well, I'm going to preface this whole conversation by stating that my wife is going to call me in a panic any minute now. And when she does, I'm just going to have to hop off. And
now, what happened to your dog? Give me the whole story with the dog.
So there's these a few, I don't know, a little half a mile from my house, there's these big power lines that just went through, and there's this nice trail along the power lines, and I can walk my dog over there, and it's kind of like in the woods, but he doesn't have to be on a leash. There's no road, he just can go and sniff around. There's a big field over there. There's deer back there. There's all kinds of wildlife. So he's in his olfactory heaven back there. And we do that walk like every day. And this morning we were coming back down the hill under the power lines, and that power line road kind of is like the back alley, so to speak, to a row of houses along the way. And this dog came running out from behind one of the houses and grabbed Flex by the back, left hind quarters. But he didn't yelp, he didn't cry out or anything. And the guy called his dog off immediately. Dog was a puppy, wasn't full grown yet. And I didn't even see a wet mark on Flex on his back leg or anything. Right. And then it wasn't until just a little while ago we were out went for a ride in the truck, and I picked him up to put him in the back, and I noticed he had like some red on his fur, and I looked under further inspection. That's what I found. So
do you think it was just because the dog kind of bit down on him a little bit? And
you know how dogs like to do that back leg takedown, So that's what she was trying to do to him, and they ended up like sniffing each other, wagging their tails, when we had him on the leash, and then she's licking Flex's ear, and he's like going like this, and it's like, dude, you got two holes in your leg now, I mean, it's a price to pay. So my buddy who's a dog breeder said exactly the same as you. To clean it out and then pack it with triple antibiotic cream.
You know what? There's nothing. The vet's just going to charge you $300 to tell you the same thing. They'll clean it. They'll put some bastration. I'm sure the puppy had his shots. It's not like he's got rabies or anything like that.
And dog saliva is very antibacterial.
Yeah, these vets will get you because they'll make you panic. Like, oh my God, I got it. If it looks bad tomorrow, if it gets worse, then you can take them. But I don't think there's any.
It just went through the skin. It didn't go through the subsurface.
If you would have fallen on a rose bush and pricked your leg and gotten 14 holes in your leg, would you have gone to the doctor?
No, exactly.
No.
Yeah. It just looks worse than it is.
Of course.
My wife's going to see the picture and go,
yeah, she's going to say that you're right, that you were an incompetent
parent. They're going to call the ASPCA on me, and no, she wouldn't do that. but you know, but I tend to down-regulate everything, and you know, women tend to escalate everything when it comes to wounded children. So, and you know, that's her baby. So, you know,
Of course.
I have that extra.
Well, it's like, you know, I drop something on the floor of my kitchen, I pick it up and eat it. My wife thinks it's got like, you know, like botulism on it because it landed on the floor on our kitchen floor for 10 seconds, you know.
That she no doubt cleans.
She'll throw away like a complete meal, you know, if it, you know, I'll actually scrape it off the floor, even if it's like completely like I'll still eat it. But I'm just saying, like, even if it just touches the floor, she'll throw it in the garbage.
Mythbusters actually did the whole 5-second rule, you know. Yeah.
And what they determined?
There was no difference.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have something, there was at some point, it was a while ago, a caveat that if what you drop is wet, and you drop something wet on the spot of something that has dried, the wet in what you dropped will, the longer it stays on there, the more it reconstitutes whatever has been, you know, dried into the grain of the floor, the wood planking, so to speak, or the tile or whatever, you know.
And
if you drop a steak, here's a better question: if Greg Valentino dropped a fatty ribeye steak on the floor, would he eat it or would he throw it out?
You'd eat it.
Yeah, of course he would. He might eat it on the floor. He might get on the floor like the dog and eat it. Using the floor as a plate.
My floor is cleaner than probably some of those people that work in kitchens' hands. So I'm eating it off the floor. So.
Yeah, Lee is a clean neurotic, you know. So
I am too.
I'll probably die of bleach. I'll die of bleach poisoning on the steak if I pick it off the floor and eat it.
I have this idea. I think that you and Guy's sister Nino should have like a clean off. Like we should get you both. Like we should give you 2 rooms that are equally disgusting and messed up, and then give you guys like an hour to clean it and see who does a better job, and we can like assess it. You know,
I'm gonna visit Guy. I'm gonna visit Guy when I'm over there in October. So I'm going.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be in Jersey. That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna mess up his place to it.
Oh, he'll go crazy. You won't be able to because you're so clean. You can't.
It'll annoy me just as bad. But
yeah, I was gonna say people who are clean, can't mess stuff up. They can't do.
No, we should do like a celebrity clean off. You know, we should.
That's what I meant.
We should rent 2 hotel, like adjoining hotel rooms.
That's what I meant.
Okay, throw a party in there, trash the shit out of them. Okay, and then the next morning, you know, Lee is on, you know, 501 and Guy is on 502. And we start the stopwatch, and you know, the maid cart. They got to push the maid cart into the room.
They got an hour. You give them an hour to clean.
Exactly, in an hour, and then the hour you send in Inspector 12.
That's right.
Yeah, they got to, you know, white glove it.
That'll be good. I know how to do hospital corners on the bed sheets and stuff.
Wow.
I don't know. I think it might be a tie. Though the 2 of them are pretty good. I mean, Guy is cleaned. When he used to come over my house, he would get like a toothbrush. He would take a toothbrush and start cleaning my coffee table and stuff like that.
It's so Italian. I got to tell you, man. This my grandmother. My grandmother had the steam heat, right? You know, the radiators, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And it was kind of built into the wall a little bit, and there was a metal cover over it with louvers, right? Mm. The woman is like 90 years old. She could barely lift her shoulders up, and she somehow takes this metal thing cover off of this thing, puts it over, and she's on her hands and knees cleaning up under there in that alcove underneath. And the only reason I know this is I dropped something on the floor one time, and I bent down to pick it up, and I knocked into this metal thing, and she hadn't hooked it on right, and it fell off, and it came down, and I look behind there, and it's like, you could do fucking surgery back there. It was on not even a dust speck. And it was underneath the radiator in the back of a wall. And as I'm putting the thing to cover it back on, she goes, no, Johnny, wait a minute. I got to clean back there. She wiped it off before I
cleaned it back on. Yeah, I'm always in search of a cleaning service that will clean that way. I don't want to live with someone who cleans like that, but I'd like to hire someone who cleans.
The worst thing is when you start, because I have like Venetian blinds, and sometimes I'm like, they look clean, but then I get out the thing and just rub it, and just that surface dust, And now I've made the mark on one of the blinds. I can see where it's clean. I got to go do the whole fucking thing. You know, doing Venetian blinds. Oh my God, it's like
You really got to
sometimes
take them down. That's the only way to really do it.
Sometimes I just take them down, put them on the clothesline, hose them.
Hose them, yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about so you would never have curtains in your house then, Lee? Because that's
Used
like
to.
impossible to clean those,
Used
right?
to a long time ago have the curtain, you know, like the decorative ones that just you keep open on each end. But but after every couple of months you got to take them down just the dust build. Have you ever been to movie theaters and they have those curtains on the wall in the movie theater? You ever seen the dust build up on those things?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yep.
It's like a petri dish.
Now, would you live in a place that has rugs, like carpeting and stuff like that?
Yeah, I got rugs here and that and cow hides, but I always clean them and vacuum them. And then the wife brought this carpet shampoo, a vacuumer, so it goes over it. And you think the carpets are clean, but it's amazing the dirty water that comes out. And then even, you know, like those cyclone vacuums, I can vacuum every day. And the next day I do it again. There's so much dust and cat hair in the fucking thing. I'm like, fucking hell, it's just constant. And we have a coal train track that's probably almost a kilometre away where the coal trains go past. Yeah. And even then, sometimes I'll go dust and just the black coal dust you get off stuff.
It's probably in your lungs too from that.
Probably.
You know, when I lived in Venice, I used to get this film, this black film on the windows and on the blinds and everything. And what I found out it was from the jet exhaust. The planes leaving out of LAX.
Wow.
Left that film of, you know, whatever it is, jet exhaust on the blinds.
Not as bad as driving through Germany back in the day and you'd get all that ash over your windscreen.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
You know, I just got a text from someone who I haven't heard from in a really long time, Mike Nephew.
Really?
I was just thinking of him the other day when I was thinking of the Iron Man lighting, because you know we always talk about lightings at shows and Bob's chicks, like how can we ever do that? Because every place is different. It's like you don't have to get an exact Bob, but you could speak to Mike Nephew and whoever else did that lighting and get a rough idea of what they did. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try and copy that as close as you can to different venues. It's not hard to say, how did you light it? What angles did you have the lights coming from? Because I remember they had them coming down. They had them behind the stage coming up. So if you're standing there, it lit the upper lats and legs and everything. So it wouldn't be hard to just get a rough game plan of what he did and try stick close to that, because some of the lighting at shows is just fucking shit.
John Balick actually studied lighting.
Oh, well.
So, you know, Nephew and Iron Man always had the best photography because they had Nephew and Balick, and then they were the lighting masters.
Yep.
Especially in Neview's studio. Holy shit. That was right. You can tell a mile away. That was shot.
Why you got to show Mike Quinn? I had one of those bad days yesterday where, you know, sometimes out of the blue, you just start remembering shit from a long time ago. And it was generally people that were dead. Now, why are you showing Mike Quinn? Because I'm thinking, why the fuck am I remembering all these people that died? It's making me depressed. I'm thinking, fuck, am I next to go? Is this the...
Yeah, exactly. Well, Nephew has obviously got a lot of pictures from that he's taken over the years. And he wants to, I guess, offer them up to some of the athletes who he took them up. I actually bought all my pictures from him. He gave me a pretty good deal on it. And I said, you know what? Even if I only get one or two good ones out of all those slides, you know, they sent me hundreds and hundreds of slides that he took of me. And I got them now. So, I mean, forever, you know, and I can pull them up.
Isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame that you did all the hard work? He got paid photographing you. Yeah. You're the image, but you're going to pay for your image.
I got to buy my image. Yeah, he gave me a good deal. But the point
doesn't matter. You know, it's still you.
It's still of course.
You. Yeah, but he created the image. So there's got to be some.
And I created the body that he
service value in that.
I had to create.
I'll say one thing for Per Bernal used to give you the pictures to use personally for yourself. He didn't want you weren't allowed to like sell them to other people, but if you wanted to have the pictures to use for yourself, so that I mean, in that sense, I guess it was.
And you had to credit him.
Yeah,
exactly. No, he had credit, photo credit,
permanent. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of the greatest pictures out there are from Per Bonnell, which is
best
cool.
ones I ever had were from Per.
I know Mike said he has pictures of Linda Murray, Aaron Baker, Franco Santoriello. He said he has some really good ones. So if you guys, any of these guys are watching the show and want to reach out to Mike, I can give him or reach out to me. I can give you Mike's number and put you guys in touch.
I'll call Linda.
What about, he must have pictures of you, Lee, right?
Yeah, I did quite a few photo shoots there. He had that, remember when he used to shoot in his studio, he had that gloss black stage and stand on it was just gloss black.
Pedestal,
Sure. I'll give you his number. You can reach out to him and see if maybe they got some cool stuff.
I don't want to be depressed looking at how I
But isn't it cool, Lee? Isn't it cool when you get to see pictures that you've never seen of yourself? Like, it's like there's stuff out there that you don't even know it exists out there. That's why I always say to fans, I said, if you guys have pictures that you took of me at a show that I probably have never seen, I could have, I'm sure there's a lot of pictures of me at like 315 pounds because I never took pictures of myself ever. But other people did. And so people will send me those pictures every once in a while. And I'm like, holy shit, that's kind of cool. I never saw this picture before,
That's cool. Nev, you had that first set of fake triple disc plates. Remember?
Yeah. He had the fake weights there.
What? Thank God. I mean, imagine holding 315 up for 75 minutes while
Yeah, that was the Chris Lund photo shoot. Hold it halfway, hold it, now push it, hold it there.
That was real back up. Yeah. Like, 5 more,
Bring it down just a little bit. Now hold it there. Now push it up just an inch. Now bring it back.
And you knew it was dangerous to do it, but you did it anyway, Lee, right? You knew it was dangerous,
Well, the thing was, I couldn't fake it because the time I used the fake weights with Mike and Robert Reef, you got the big fake dumbbell. He's like, now grimace like you. He goes, you look like you're smiling. I said, because I am. It's hard to fake it. That's why I just used real weights, because every time I tried to fake it, it looked like I was laughing. So.
Yeah, you know what? When you're all depleted out right after a show, those fake weights feel heavy. I got news for you. Nothing feels light.
Yeah.
I went to some photo shoots with Per Bonnell, and that I don't even know how I got through them, because he would shoot you for 5-6 hours, sometimes more, maybe 8 hours sometimes. And there were shows where, I mean, literally, I went out after the USA Championships, to the old Craig Titus after party, wink, wink, John. And I went right from the party. I went to McDonald's. I would eat like a Egg McMuffin, go back, shower, and then go right to the photo shoot. And I mean, literally with 0 sleep. And by 3 hours in, I was like running to the bathroom to fucking, take shots of Nubane to get through the photo shoot.
Unless that was a Bill Dobbins photo shoot, at which point 6 hours would have been just spent getting the Polaroids done.
Yes.
And the guitar comes out.
I gotta say, and the guitar, a song, a serenade.
Per would do a set. The worst part about photo shoots, people don't realize, is not the shooting itself. It's the setup, because it takes them hours to set the thing up with the light, the reflectors, and Per's got 14 helpers there, setting it up. And so you wait all this time, which you're like falling apart at this point. And then you got to get up and get oiled up and pumped up again, because now they're going to shoot you for 10, 15 minutes. And then they're going to move to the next station where they're going to, do the next. You got to
stand around and do nothing.
Yes.
It's like I did a photo shoot with Per once, and we're shooting, and then you had to change the film or card, and that we're shooting for a bit. And he's like, oh, hold it. We've been going for 20 minutes. He goes, I forgot to put the new card thing in. I'm like, oh. And that's when I did that photo where I just looked at him and went like that.
Oh, that's where that came from?
Yeah, and then it came out. Lee Priest flips off the IFBB. I was flipping him off because he didn't have any fucking...
Blackman loved that. Lee's a rebel. He's a rebel.
Yeah.
He goes, I got the card in now, Lee. We can start again. I went... Lee Priest gives the finger to the IFBB.
In the beginning, Per used to use his wife, Annalise, as the slave.
And they would argue the whole time they were there.
Oh my God, he worked her like farm equipment. It was she's moving benches and weights and stacks of plates and he's just standing there, But he's an artist. You got to give it to him.
No, he was great. He was great.
I don't think there is I can't name really a better black and white great.
Well, David Paul
He's right
was
up there,
close.
man.
I think David Paul was close.
Yeah, he was definitely close. Who was that other guy? That guy out of Hollywood. He used to shoot for Penthouse.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Ralph
Not Robert Reef.
No, not Robert Reef.
Was it Ralph?
Chris Lund was good.
Nah.
Wasn't that Ralph DeHaan that shot for Penthouse? No.
No, well, I don't know if he did or not, but Ralph DeHaan was like in San Diego, or no,
Yes.
He was like in San Diego.
Is what's her name still alive and around? Paula Crane, or did she pass away?
She did my first photo shoot. I don't know.
She did my first photo shoot too.
Is she still around at all?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still around. I haven't heard anything.
Got to be. She's not that old. You know, I went to Gold's Venice in '94. First time I walked in the building, I was in like a tank top and shorts.
And Jerry Frederick's got a heart on.
Now, Paula Crane was the first person who literally ran from the parking lot into the gym after me. Who are you? Who are you? Knew me, you know, because what they would do back then is these photographers would grab new guys, they would take photos of them that no one had, and then they would sell them to the magazines because it was like something new.
Right.
And he's like, I want to shoot you. I said, all right. I wasn't even in contest shape, but you know, I was always pretty lean. She said, I want to shoot you, and she shot me like the next day, believe it or not.
And I bet she was wearing white. She always wore white every time I saw her.
Yeah, white with her, and she had very big boobs. They were sticking out. But she shot me also with this. My friend Bobby was dating this insane girl. She was a Madonna lookalike.
Yeah.
And I actually I got to find those pictures. I got them someplace. There was a couple of good ones that came out. But yeah, she shot me first. Then Jerry Frederick, you know, chased me down for the second, you know, because they were like working in cahoots with each other.
Right. They were like,
and then Ted Dixon. When Paula Crane showed Ted Dixon the pictures of me, he moved in because he's like, I'm with Weeder. That was his big, you know, he was trying
you'd always have Steve Neese walking around with his little camera, but
Steve Neese taking a little.
You'd have Artie and Jerry doing the rounds, Gold's World, down to Powerhouse.
Now, Artie Zeller was a great photographer too.
Oh yeah, and he just had that little one around his neck.
They made money back then. Joe Weeder would buy pictures. Robert Kennedy would buy pictures.
Yep.
I mean,
and they hustled. You know, they were in the mix. You know, they were all over the place. They shot everybody. You know.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you, they shot me. I mean, so it
was cool. You know what was cool about it? It made you feel special, like because the magazines were it. That was your social media. That was Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all wrapped up into one. You know. What?
I was just going to say, if you got the cover of a magazine, how many times would you go to the newsstand and move them all to the front where people could see?
That's right. Well, Lee, you got to do that an awful lot. I didn't get to do that very often. So
I did an ad for Twin Labs with Shelley, and a lot of the books had it on the back cover,
back page. So
I would go to when I'd see it in the newsstand or in the checkout line, I'd take the magazine out and turn it around.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, you are the back page.
Back cover.
It was mostly muscular development, right? That had
it was mostly muscular, but all the books had a back cover. That was like big real estate was the back cover.
Yeah, what did they charge for an ad on a back cover of those major magazines?
I think it was either half or 2/3 of the front cover. It was a big deal.
Well, but the front cover, you're not going to really have an ad on. So, what was it had to be the most expensive piece of real estate.
It was in MD. It was the most expensive piece. Yeah.
What did Blackman charge?
The back cover and the inside fold.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember the fold? You open the front cover because sometimes they'd put a poster of a girl behind there, and then the middle page would be the ad.
Wasn't Diamondized? I remember the original Diamondized. That was what they were on a lot of back covers for a while. I didn't even know who they were. I remember Titus was in the ad for it. Yeah.
And then you had the gate folds. Remember that in the middle it opened up, and you had all of that. Yeah. That book opened up like a fucking transformer. It had everything.
Well, Blackman sold everything, but I'm just saying, even like with the weed, I wonder, like Joe, what does Flex magazine back cover, cost? It had to be expensive.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
What do you think?
One of the great Blackman failures was I think it was Ginsburg who even told me this that it did. It came from either Ginsburg or the other tall guy that was there. That they tried to give Harley Davidson the back cover, and they wouldn't take it.
Why do you want to give it to them? What was the strategy move there?
Prestige. I got Harley Davidson, because when he's doing we're number one at Barnes and Noble, and Harley Davidson is our number one advertiser.
I see. It's like the coaches out there who will pay the top athletes for them to be their coach.
Look, we make fun of them, but this is brilliant. This is brilliant marketing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it didn't work. It didn't work, John.
But the concept is sound, though. I mean, if he had, that's a great idea. Get a giant, iconic company to accept your free back cover, and that's good for you. That's genius. I'm sorry, this is a smart move.
Yeah, he was giving away the back cover. Joe Weider was selling it to Budweiser. Right. Remember when he did those alcohol ads? He probably got a fortune for those ads.
Oh yeah, either that or Joe gave it to Budweiser just to fuck with.
I don't think Joe gave any. Joe didn't give anything away. Believe me.
No, he did not.
I actually saw a really good documentary. Someone sent me a link to. It was done about 20 years ago. It was called Joe and Ben Weider or something like that. Brothers in Iron or something like that. Yeah. You saw that?
I did.
It's on YouTube.
It is now, yeah.
It's a 3-parter. Yeah, it was way better, I thought, than the movie Bigger.
Oh, yeah. It was really well done. I don't know who did it, but it was really well done.
I don't know either, but it was. Arnold was in there. Joe, Ben. You really saw them in their prime. They were in their probably 50s or 60s at the time, and you saw them interacting. And
it's so weird that Ben and Joe would be in their own documentary, Dave.
Bigger was made, Lee, and they were dead.
Just the way you're saying, and Arnold was in there, and Ben and Joe was in there.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times these people won't participate, Lee.
But I'm just saying, when you say Joe and Ben are in it, it was about them, of course.
But they weren't. You know what I mean? What I meant to say was they weren't senile. They were actually They were in the prime of their functionality. As I guess you could say media moguls at that point.
Well, there was a point at that point in the 60s and 70s when magazine publishing was very avant-garde and very vogue. Yet Hugh Hefner was in Chicago, putting out Playboy, lounging around in his pajamas, smoking a pipe, and it was very eccentric. And then Joe moved the whole company to Chicago and was publishing out of Chicago. And you had other major magazines, and you had sort of it was almost like I don't want to say hippie, but it was definitely a sort of anti-establishment, 60s movement in magazine publishing. And Joe was right in the middle of that, in his prime. So he was on Hefner level,
He was a major mover from what that documentary said. He was big time. He can demand whatever he wanted. It was funny. There was a scene where they were showing. I guess it was the Olympia. I think it was the Olympia was it New York maybe? I don't even know, but Sinbad was remember they got Sinbad, the comedian?
Yeah. Sinbad
and Ben was so worried. He's like, "Hell, Sinbad, no dirty jokes." and Sinbad's handler is like, I can't tell him. He doesn't listen to me, He does what he wants. He's like, "No dirty jokes, no dirty jokes."
Wait, I got a classic Ben for you in that regard. Yeah. It came right out of his mouth. I was sitting like 2 rows behind him, and it was over Laura Crevel. She had something, her suit. She did the moon pose or something, and you could very well delineate the female reproductive organ.
Really?
And Ben says, "I like pussy just as much as the next guy, but not on my stage."
Really? That's great. Because he was always so concerned about the image. Because
to hear the word pussy come out of his mouth was like...
Ben was a very smart guy. He was no dummy. And, they actually showed in the documentary too all his Napoleon paraphernalia, and they were interviewing his son. I'd never seen this. I can't believe you saw this. I'd never seen this. His son said, around the holidays, my friends would come over and family, and we always had to see the Napoleon hat and and all the paraphernalia. He had a lock of hair of Napoleon's. And it was all hung up in the living room, and they were showing it. It was great.
He probably got Napoleon's corpse out the back in a box somewhere in the crypt.
He had his baptismal gown, the white one.
They were showing also Ben and Joe, whenever they would go to different cities, they would go to like auction houses. And they would look for, and Ben was always looking for new Napoleon stuff that they were auctioning off. Like, wow, look at this marble. It's so smooth. Look at Ben, Joe. Isn't this, Joe could give a shit. Joe just wanted to find the next person to shoot for, you know,
Joe was heavily into Hitler. He liked Hitler books and Hitler history.
Oh, he did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like his brother was into Napoleon and Joe was really into the whole Hitler thing.
And they were showing Joe looking at the covers, like of the magazines, and they're like, the guy who worked for Joe's like, Joe, this is a good one. We should go with this. No. We can't have blue here. We can't have blue. Like, he was doing what Blackman pretended to do, like every month.
No, the worst photo shoot you ever have is sometimes Joe would come to the photo shoots with Robert Reef and that.
Yeah.
Oh, the arguments over what should be done and what should. Oh my God. Joe,
well, yeah, that's what he said. He goes,
Robert Reef's like, fuck off, Joe. I'm doing it this way. And then Joe's yelling back at Robert Reef. And now, why can't you do it like this? Joe, because the lighting's not right. Well, make it work. Make it work. And like,
well, they showed Joe oiling up Gunther Schlierkamp.
Oh, yeah.
He goes,
he's
like, they don't know how to oil. No one knows how to oil up people right. I know how to oil. I know what people think. They think I'm a creepy old guy, you know, like getting my rocks up. And it's not like that. It's like a doctor. I have to make sure it's perfect. And he was right. You could tell it wasn't like he was he wasn't getting off on doing it. It wasn't like a creepy, perverted thing. He really wanted everything to be perfect for that.
He oiled me up a few times. There's that one photo shoot where I was on the cover with those two ditzy blondes on Muscle and Fitness, but there was a photo there. Comes up this idea. Joe's like, I got a great idea. Lee, sit on the bench, you know, do the crucifix pose out like this, flexing the abs. He comes over, puts oil over me, and gets one of the blonde girls and goes, now go sit up on his neck and shoulders, do the splits, and he can hold you as she's sitting on the back of my neck and her legs are doing the splits here, and she's sliding everywhere. I'm leaning forward. He's like, now sit up straight. And I do it without her. That's what you got to do. I said, yeah, well, it's different when she's sitting on the back of my neck. We're both covered in oil. All I feel is this big pussy mound pushing on the back of my neck, and she's sliding. He's like, it's like him giving directions was crazy.
You loved it probably, though.
Yeah. He did this thing I saw him do on, I forget who he was oiling up, but he looks back and then he takes his fingers and he goes like this, you know, across his abs, you know, to get the oil like just perfect in there.
That's like when I did Arnold's book, Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. Arnold would stop the photo shoot and come over and put the oil on me, and then I'd start training. He'd be like, stop. He'd come over and dab the sweat off me. And I told the photographer, I said, I don't want any training pictures. Just get pictures of Arnold wiping my sweat off and putting oil on me.
Arnold was my valet.
Yeah. Look at my little bitch boy here, Arnold, wiping my sweat off while I'm training.
Did you ever do any photo shoots with like any hot girls, Lee, that you actually hooked up with after?
Laurie Donnelly was my very first girl. I did a photo shoot.
I didn't know that.
To her. Yeah, the one on Muscle Mag cover, her and I, that was the very first photo shoot. I cooked her lunch, and then she thought that was very sweet, and then we sort of started seeing each other after that. I think we did 2 or 3 covers together after that.
Who was this?
Laurie Donnelly.
Oh, wow.
I think she was going out with, not
Dave
sure.
Fisher, wasn't she?
No, back then she was going out with, could have been Luke McNally, one of those people from Flex Equipment or whatever it was.
Didn't she date Dave Fisher?
No, I think they just did for some photo shoots back in the day.
Sue Price.
It was with Sue Price.
Sue Price. I'm thinking Sue Price.
She did a cool movie where she played a cool little.
Oh yeah, she did. You're right.
Yeah,
Sue Price was in that movie.
She looked great in that movie.
Yeah,
I'll have to get my covers. I was on so many covers. I should get them and frame them, but
yeah, you should.
I'm looking at them right now. They're all online, basically, you know. But probably except the one I want to find.
It was Muscle Mag with Laurie and I.
Yeah, you're on a lot of covers. I mean, I can't even believe
that was a good one. That was a good one. That remember Muscular Development had me doing that myth pose where it said like Lee Priest resurrected, and that was a great shot from the Iron Man stage where you could see all the big pipe veins going from it.
I sent Pear there to take the picture. I told him get good pictures of Lee. Get good pictures of Lee. We're gonna put it on the cover. So Pear saw dollar signs flying through his head, so he went and took the pictures. Pear would be great. Pear was so confident about himself. He would set up right in the front, in the middle. I think the other photographers were afraid of him. I don't think, and no one would even like challenge where he was sitting. Like he said, if I'm going to be at the show, I'm in the middle. Everyone else, all the peons off to the side.
And then he would sit on like 2 phone books.
Yes, so he'd be like,
he was like way higher than everybody else.
Yeah, and then John, he would use a flash, which fucks up everyone else's
everything.
pictures.
Yeah.
So everyone else's pictures sucked except his pictures. And the truth is, people were afraid to say anything to him.
Remember, Bleckman got into the war with I don't know, Robin Chang or Mannion or whomever, and we couldn't get press passes, so he bought Per Burnell like this lens that you used that NASA uses to photo other planets with. It was 4 feet long, and Per is back like in row 9, and he's leaning out into the aisle shooting, and that's where they got that iconic shot of Ronnie Coleman in the red posing trunks, and he's doing his back pose, and his glutes are all striated, and the posing trunks are up from. What?
Is that where that came from? I didn't know.
That's where that came from. That 7-mile telescopic,
telescopic lens. Yeah.
Right. Well, Jimmy would be happy that the Indians just landed on the moon now.
Did they?
Yeah, they landed some little thing on the moon that's taking photos and that. They're actually just setting up a site to set up a 7-Eleven and that up there, I think. So.
Well, supposedly there's a whole city on the dark side. Being,
according to Ted Dixon, there's pyramids over there too.
Right.
What did I know Dave would know, but what does John think of the old guy that got shot down in the plane over Russia? They reckon Putin's behind it with that rebel leader.
To me, it's like, did that Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? I mean, it's Occam's razor. It's so obvious what happened,
I feel sorry for the pilots. The pilots are like, why do we got to fucking die just because he's on board?
Well, did you see that Trump interview I sent you with Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
I just started watching that. He got like over 200 million views already on.
Who doesn't want to see Trump interviewed? I mean, it was a great interview too. Tucker is killing it, man.
Yep.
And he's using Twitter as his. He can't even use YouTube. He has to use Twitter. It's the only place they'll let him post stuff. Crazy.
X.
Or X.
X. Yes, X.
X marks the spot. So India's on the moon, huh? I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Well, but not manned. It's not manned.
No, I know.
No, not me. Because the Russian one crashed into the moon, I think.
Right. Yes. Yeah, we reported on that.
Well, I thought the Russians tried to shoot down the moon.
Yeah.
So what does Jimmy think? I wonder what Jimmy thinks about all this. You'll have to ask him on your next show.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I'll ask him tomorrow when we do the Jimmy and Lee show.
Because now, if Jimmy says it's bullshit, then obviously the Indians are now in on the whole whole plot, right?
Well, they are. They're on it. They're easily brought, the Indians.
Isn't that racist? I think that's racist.
What, saying they're easily brought? That's not racist. You can buy them for a couple of cows.
I think we're going to lose our monetization again.
Yeah. Don't blow it. You've been doing so good, Lee, the whole show.
They got more upset when I said that they all smell of BO the other day. So I don't think the moon.
Is that real? Is this picture real?
No, the fake.
Not according to Jimmy. Who took it?
No, I mean, is this supposed to be real, or is this like a reenactment?
Well, who would have taken
the picture?
Well, I'm sure the ship that's orbiting the moon probably released that ship.
Or as Jimmy would say, that dickhead sitting in the ship going around the fucking moon. That dickhead just taking photos.
Yeah, right.
There it is. Look at that.
That looks pretty fake to me.
That looks pretty cool. Whether it's fake or not, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick's at it again.
Yeah, exactly. How come we can't get there, but the Indians are getting there?
How come they can't just take a photo of the old moon rover lander still on the moon and shit like that on the moon?
Yeah. I'm shocked that no one has tried to annex the moon, like to say we own this part of the moon and real estate.
They're trying. They reckon they are now because of the minerals up there. That's why they're going crazy for it.
Well, they think that there might be water, ice on the other side of the moon, the dark side of the moon. That's what they're hoping for. Because if they have water on there or ice, which they can turn into water, then they could have a sustainable colony. But if there's no water up there, it's going to be very, very hard for them to do anything up there.
Yeah,
you can't bring enough water with you. You know.
You could you make all the solar energy you want, but you can't create water.
You could make a water pipe from Earth all the way to the moon and just pump it
there up. There you go. Yeah. What isn't there an Isaac Asimov? I think I think I've been that thing I watched. You ever watch Foundation? That I'm sure Lee probably watched.
No, I always go to watch it, but I've never started watching it. It looks good though.
No,
it's pretty interesting. Yeah, they're on the second season now, but they had built a bridge from the surface of the Earth, like up into like almost into outer space, where they have buildings and shit like that of the future. It's supposed to be like, you know,
wow, like the line.
I mean, think about it. I mean, why not? I mean, it is, you know, why can't they could build the Burj, you know, in Dubai? Why can't they go double and triple the you know, that where it's actually like almost an orbit around, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, think of that. I mean, that's free real estate. If you can create something that can stay suspended like that, you could build a city on it and float around, and you own this. You own it. You know,
why not build that like one that's in Dubai? Build that on top of Mount Everest.
There you go.
Or inside of Mount Everest.
How do you get up to the side of it? How do you get up to Mount Everest though to get the?
They can get up anywhere. Look at these places they've built things on. Tony Stark built that thing on a mountain top on the side of a cliff. If Tony Stark can build that there, they can build anything.
So I was going through my stuff. I had mentioned this probably several years back. I'd found it. I was going through some boxes I had in my closet and looking at what my testosterone reserves are since I started HRT again. I want to see what I got, you know, left. I had a couple bottles, I think. And I found a tray, the original tray with 4 vials of Esicline, the real Esicline, Formabolin, in the little brown vial with the real paper labels on it, in the tray that it came in. I don't have the box that it was in, but I have the tray. And I'm figuring it must be worth a few bucks, right?
Keep it for your museum, Dave.
I think I'll put it in the Hall of Fame.
I think you would have popped them open and pumped up one of your delts just for all time's sake.
If Boston Lloyd was still alive.
Hurting, and that Esicline, because it hurts so bad, as soon as it starts hurting, you'd be like, "Oh, why did I do that? Why did?"
If it wasn't illegal, I would put it on eBay. I'd probably get a lot of money for it.
You know? Yeah, as a nostalgic item.
Yeah.
Put it on the dark web, Dave. On the dark web.
If it's expired, is it still considered illegal?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. It's only 4 vials.
At one point, can it be a memento? I mean, if you found a bottle of Coca-Cola from the 1920s that actually had cocaine in it, yeah. would you be guilty of possessing cocaine if you tried to auction that off at Sotheby's for $1 million?
John, very, very slippery slope you're on there, right there.
Probably is. We need to get Rick Collins on and straighten out.
If I find a suitcase full of drugs and they're not mine and I sell them, is it really illegal because they weren't mine to begin with?
Well, but I know. Wait, back to Dave's point though. I think that's worth asking them, because as people start weeding through their shit and they're starting to find, hey, I got an old Parabolin box or this old Finaplex box, or, you know, remember when we used to get those, you know, pink whatevers from the blue with Anabox Androlones, and it was anything, you know.
I wonder if we could put it like let's say we had a museum, let's say I had a bodybuilding Hall of Fame, and I wanted to have a steroid wing with the, you know,
you're gonna all the bodybuilders use needles. Well, I'll donate a used needle, Dave. Here you go.
No, like a Syntex Anadrol bottle, you know, just like all the.
But my point is, would there be a point where the nostalgic element, the intrinsic value of its nostalgia, be greater than the legal,
the illegality
aspect of it if it had expired and is technically.
Right. Well, money when it's old is no longer legal tender. So maybe when the drugs are old, it's no longer illegal.
What would happen if you found? What would happen, John, if you found a box of money that someone buried in like 1950 or 1940, would that money be viable? Could you use it, you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine bringing that into a bank and saying, I want to deposit this?
That's exactly how you get caught. You
Well,
never bring cash to
but
the bank.
is it illegal to find a box of money? I mean, what are you supposed to do with it?
Well, technically you're supposed to report it because it's technically property.
How could you spend 1950 money? You don't think someone's going to think it's suspicious?
Well, are we talking billions or are we talking a couple $100,000? How much are we talking?
Let's say you find $1 million.
All right, then you just start spending it in cash here and there, and
God.
It's like that. Remember, this was like back in the 90s. I remember an old couple was actually in Florida along the side of the road. They pulled over, and just down the embankment, they found a suitcase that had $3 million cash in it that they turned in. I was like, how stupid! Why would you
people turn it in? It's so dumb. What? Here's what you do: you go take the cash, you go to Miami, and you buy Rolexes. All right, is the big dollar Rolexes. You put them on your wrist.
I think that's suspicious. I think that would be suspicious.
Did you hear where I said you got to go? Jewelry store in Miami, downtown Miami.
You never know though. You drop 25 grand, 30, 40 grand on a watch. They might report you.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You buy a gold Rolex or one of the rarer ones that are a couple $100,000. You put it on your wrist. You fly to Japan or Jakarta or in Hong Kong. You unload it over there. You fly back, and then that's how you work that shit out.
When you go through security, you don't think it would look suspicious?
It's my watch. You're talking about you can easily wear one watch that costs 200 grand, 300 grand easily. Easily. More than that.
What a pain. There's got to be an easier way to wash the money.
Richard Meals are like $1 million. Ask Aaron Singerman. He's got a couple of them.
It's got to be an easier way to wash the money, John.
You buy diamonds, you buy gold, you buy anything that's fungible, that's tangible.
Right.
So you get your liquidity out of it. But Rolexes are like cash. So you can't even imagine how much money gets moved across borders by Rolexes.
I didn't even realize that. But I guess you could build shit too, right? I mean, builders would love to take cash, I would think.
A lot of service companies take cash.
Yeah.
Anybody that my pool guy will take cash. My landscape guy will take cash. The tree guy took cash. The painter takes cash. They all take
pretty much all the Asian sushi places around here are cash only because they're ripping off the fucking system when it comes tax time. Tattoo shops, half of them cash.
Cash only.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine who's setting up he's in Qatar now, and he's a client of mine, was a client of mine, and he is setting up a big super fight in Qatar, big money, like $300 million. I don't have any, I can't reveal any more details. 300 million. What?
Country? Is he in base Qatar or country?
He's in Qatar.
Yeah. Well, John gets my stupid humor. Dave's just like, what?
No.
That was two in one show, Lee. That was pretty good. I thought you were going to make an ass joke out of Hawaii or something, but I guess that's too soon.
Oh, no, it's okay. We could do it. How do you fit 10 Hawaiians in a mini?
How?
2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 6 in the ashtray.
Oh, that's not nice.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did Jimmy send you that Instagram post?
Jimmy sent me a message the other day morning, Lee, and I thought I must reply to Jimmy. And then the next day I had a sore throat. I was a bit sick. I forgot. So the next day, Jimmy writes, "Are you angry with me, Lee?"
I'm gonna play the thing you sent me. I'm gonna play the thing you sent me.
I said, "No, Jimmy, I'm not. I just forgot to reply, and then I was feeling a bit sick."
It's called "Why the Heck Are Celebrities All Painting Their Maui Properties Blue?"
Oh, did you see? All Oprah and them wanted to buy up a lot of the properties, and people they reckon there's a conspiracy because Oprah and the big people's properties didn't burn.
Well, this is the whole thing. This person claims that the reason why they all have blue houses and their houses all survived was because there's a laser that they're shooting down from space to destroy all the houses, but it doesn't. The laser doesn't affect blue. So they all painted their house this blue color because the laser just would only burn up the houses that weren't blue. And if you look,
well,
you see that?
They had a guy there who said he went through it, and like it was one of the firefighters, and he's like, yeah, I've heard all the conspiracy things, but he was saying that even some of the cars and different things, the way they were melted, the heat to do that, he said, couldn't have come from that type of fire. So who knows what's going on? This is like that blue beam thing, is it, that Jimmy's talking about? Is it
Yes, the blue beam. That's exactly what it is. I think they removed it though. I can't find it anymore. They took it off. But I watched it this morning.
All the rich people, their homes never got done, and then like the response time, and then this.
I said, but this is my thing. I said, Jimmy, it sounds like a good theory, assuming that the pictures that the guy's showing with there's just one blue house and everything around it is burned. It sounds like a good theory, but once the fire starts from the blue laser, hitting everything, wouldn't there be collateral damage? In other words, it's not going to just stop burning like, when it gets to the blue house. The initial blast might not affect the blue house, but what about the collateral burning of all the neighborhood houses? I didn't get a response from him.
As someone who lived through a drastic fire like that up in Malibu, I will offer you this.
Okay.
When Malibu burnt down and I was living up there, I had to evacuate. Okay. When the fire came over the mountain from the valley, you could see the smoke and it was starting to come, and the helicopters are strafing our little community up there at the top of Las Flores Canyon. And they're saying, the fire's coming, evacuate, the fire's coming, evacuate, create total chaos. And as soon as people are trying to get out, they don't know which way to go. The fire's here, the fire's there. This road's closed, that road's open. Now it's closed. They're turning people back. They're letting people through. They're trying to get down to the ocean. They're trying to get away through the around the other side, back into the valley, so they can come around through, get out that way. Right. And as soon as the fire crested the top of the mountain there, separating us from the valley, the wind that fire sucking the oxygen up, up the hill, was like 60 miles an hour. You could have like almost flown in that wind. So you got this incredible wind, this insane heat, this turbulence going, shit flying around, helicopters strafing the area, everybody's chaotic. It's an absolute chaos scene. Okay, and that was a small community. I can imagine the size of Lahaina, one road in, one road out. It's crazy over there. So
didn't they say it was moving at like a mile a minute in Hawaii or something like that?
It was over relatively fast. And then you had some fucking radical, wacko, liberal worried about equity and which way the water was released, and they didn't for 5 hours. They didn't get water. It was an absolute total breakdown of human value. So it was, and it's not climate change. But anyway, after Malibu burned down and they let us back in a few days later, I wanted to go home and see what was left, if I had a home left. And I'm walking through the neighborhood at the bottom of the hill, and you just see charred everything, black. The power lines are laying down, smoldering. There's little fires burning. You just come to where houses used to be, and you just see the 3 steps up to where the front door was. And then there's nothing, or a chimney sticking out of the ground where a fireplace used to be, built over the house built around it. Shit's gone. Then all of a sudden, in the middle of all of that, you have an absolutely pristine patch of green grass, flowers, trees with leaves on them. The house is perfect. Perfect. The sprinklers are even on. They had water. Okay. And then more charred. I get all the way, the bridge was burned out at the bottom, so I had to walk all the way up 9 miles to the top. And as I'm walking up, I'm seeing this all over. I'm seeing burnt, charred, burnt, black, and then oasis. Then another patch over here, totally untouched. And I get up to where our little enclave was. It was 12 houses up there, all except one house. Everything was perfect, fine. And everything around it, charred, black, gone. All the houses burnt, crisp. Chimneys sticking out of the ground, steps, no house. So I asked the firemen that are prowling around up there, I go, how did you guys put this fire out and not that fire? He goes, no, man, fire just jumps around. You have no control over what the fire is going to do. So they're all painted blue. I don't know. I'd have to see that. All I can tell you is, having lived through a fire, I know that it is selective.
But you see that too. How many times do you see, like, if a tornado or hurricane goes
avoiding blue houses, John?
There'll be, how many houses do you see knocked out with cyclones and hurricanes, decimated? But then there'll just be houses in amongst all the shit standing there, not even touched. It's like perfect.
Right. So if your house was blue, it didn't get burnt, no matter all of them. And how can they tell if it's burnt if it was blue or not?
Because it's the Jimmy conspiracy theory.
I think the worst thing though is when there's no stopping it. When it happens is when you see tsunamis or tidal waves. I think water is the worst when it comes through. It's like nothing stops water when it's on its way.
No. The thing about Hawaii is everybody who listened, who disobeyed the cops and went the way where they wanted to go lived. Everybody who listened to the cops died.
Is that true? Wow.
Yes. They all sent them back to. There's only one road in and out of Lahaina. It's the beach road. It's it. It's the only way in or out. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a very.
I've been to Maui. Yeah.
And then people are mad because Biden's given all the billions to Ukraine and $700 to people in Hawaii.
Family per family, 700.
Well, Trump did a number on Biden. He said the guy can barely walk. He can't speak. He's like, he wants to run against him. I don't blame him. They're like, who would you want to run against? He's like, I want to run against Biden. Why wouldn't I? I mean, the guy's a wreck.
You see him coming out of that yoga class, whatever it was yesterday, carrying his drink or something.
Well, Trump said the guy can't lift the beach chair up. He said the beach chairs are like 3 pounds. He said, they're purposely light so that you can carry them on the beach, and he couldn't lift the beach chair up. He said. But
even that first speech he made about Hawaii, he had his cheat card in front of him. How can you not be president and just talk from your heart or what you feel about people in Hawaii?
I feel bad for him, actually.
You can't form a sentence.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy. It's like, that's when you know it's bad, when you have a tragedy like Hawaii, and you just can't wing it off the top of your head saying, my heart goes out to the people in Hawaii. We're going to do what we can. He's got to read from a card that he still fucks up and mumbles about, and bloody hell.
And he tells a fake story about how his kitchen fire, where he almost lost his Corvette, is somehow comparable.
That was really good, that story, wasn't it?
Destruction in Maui.
If I was president and I was going senile and I knew it, I would just step down. Well, I mean, there's no shame in that.
Dave, that's an oxymoron. You can't be senile and know it.
Yeah, he doesn't know it.
I guess.
It's like the emperor's new clothes.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Now there's a topic to ponder during your next meditative process.
Yeah. It's like when I say people are retarded and people go, Lee, you can't say that. I said, why not? The retarded people don't know what I'm fucking saying because they're fucking retarded.
The Masters Olympia is this weekend. So let's do a quick rundown before we wrap up today here.
Is Rusty Jeffers doing that? Or
he is. Your buddy Rusty is in the show. Fred Smalls, Joe Persanti, Josh Lenardowitz making a comeback. Your countryman from Australia. Kamala Gargney, Ken Jackson, Logan Robson, Marek Elaginachik, Max Charles, Michael Eli, Michael Flynn, who, by the way, I've seen pictures of, looks really good.
Where's Lee Priest on this list? Where's Lee Priest?
Robert Beneka, Lee Priest, Ron Stevens, Rusty Jeffers, Sergio Lima, Slavoj Bednar, Vinny Galante, and Vladimir Agrinsky. So
is Sergio doing that, is he?
Who? No, Sergio's not doing it.
Yeah.
No. Is he 40, Sergio? No.
I don't know. You said Sergio, didn't you?
No, it was a different Sergio. Sergio Lima.
Lima. I thought you said Lima. Oh.
So, I mean, I think Phil Klahar has got to be considered one of the favorites. I haven't seen Robert Bernaker in years. I don't know how he's looking lately.
What about Kamal? Kamal would have to be.
Kamal has got to be also one of the guys. I think Phil's a little bigger than Kamal.
And I haven't seen any things from Josh lately, so be interesting to see how Josh looks.
I was going to ask you if you knew anything about him.
He posted some in the beginning, but then I heard he got sick in that and then didn't post any pictures. So
Fred Smalls looked pretty good at the last show he did. He was in. He made a comeback. Max Charles, obviously always dangerous in that lineup. I'm looking at the guys who are currently competing because those to me would be the most dangerous guys. You know, guys that are in already placing top 5 in open shows right now. So
who still looks good for looks good for his age. Still, he's training, not as big, but he's still in pretty good shape. Trains hard. Is Henderson Fawn? He
does. I haven't seen him recently.
Yeah, on his Instagram, he posts up some pictures and that when he's training. He still looks pretty good.
Your buddy David Henry's doing the 212. Derek Farnsworth is doing the 212. I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow.
Dave
Henry, he'd almost be old enough to do. David would be almost old enough to do the Masters, wouldn't he? Dave Henry.
This is the Masters.
Well, he just said he's doing the 212.
He's doing the 212 Masters. They have a 212 division.
Yeah, everything's Masters, is it?
He should have done the Open. That's all Masters. The whole show is Masters Olympia.
Well, I could have done the 212 Masters. Where am I?
Well, I don't know. You're too scared to compete. You got to let's get going, man.
I need to get that stem cell stuff.
Oh, stop with the stems. Just compete already. You got to just hide your weakness.
I can't with one arm smaller.
Let me tell you something. John, would you please confer and agree with me on this one? Everyone is beat up in that Masters lineup. There's no one who doesn't have injuries or disproportionate body parts or something wrong with them. Because if they did, they'd be doing the Open class. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Look, you bodybuild as long as these guys have. You don't come out unscathed. I mean, no. you just don't. So
well, I guess they could do the Masters 212 missing an arm because those fucking physique guys do contests without any fucking legs. So
right.
I guess.
Look, you just have to pull a flex wheel. You have to know how to hide your weaknesses on stage. That's all.
Remember I told you I'd have to go as soon as.
Yes.
I got to go.
All right, go. We're wrapping this up anyway.
See you guys.
Yeah. I got to head to the gym anyway. Bye.
Good luck with the dog. All right. So let me just get back to this 212. So you got 212. You got Derek Farnsworth, David Henry. Masoon Butt's pretty good, too. I don't know how he's looking lately. Chris used to help him. I don't know if he's still helping him. Hide. I heard Hide looks pretty good.
I see Milos is helping James now. That should be good.
Yeah. Oh, he is. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, James.
Classic physique is going to be good. Darum Charles is coming back. We haven't seen him for a few years.
Yeah, he'll be good. Hey.
Alex Tabernera. So.
Jay Cutler's going to be there and take his shirt off.
Oh, he is? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, well, he said he was thinking of it, so he will.
I don't know if see here. I have a problem. I really think that the Masters Olympiad League should really just be open bodybuilding and open women's bodybuilding because that's right. Because it was a throwback. It was like we want to see the guys that used to compete in the 90s and 80s come back on stage, and compete again. And there was no classic back then. There was no 212 back then. So. I almost think it's watering down the title of Masters Olympia champ. I'd like to see David Henry. David Henry should do the Open, like you said.
But I think it should be over 50 and a stipulation. If you're going to do it, you have to be over 50 and at least not competed for 2 or 3 years. Because some of these ones that are still competing in the open shows going into that. You say you're a guy that hasn't competed for 10 years.
If you're over 50, you should be able to do what you want, whether you competed or not. I mean, Kamal can do 212. He's doing Open because he wants to win He wants to be Mr. Olympia, the Masters Mr. Olympia. So I think that David Henry should have done the Open. If I were him, I would have done that. I think he could have easily competed. I think he could have been top 5 for sure.
Daddy's got to go to the gym.
Uh-oh. Kitty cat. My cat went to the groomer today. So not shedding as much hair. Oh, I lost Lee. All right. We lost yours, I guess. Did you just get a haircut, Lee? You're very perfectly groomed today. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
You still have hair. I'm actually a little bit envious because you don't even have a bald spot. You have no loss of hair in the back.
I think it might be a little bit. I can't tell because sometimes when they buzz it here, really like it's a 0 fade into a 1. They sometimes do it near the top here too high. And sometimes when I lean down, I think, fuck, I'm going bald, but it's just where they've shaved so close up here.
No, you got great
let
hair.
it grow up here. Let it grow.
You've receded a little bit, but you're not. But you still have that full head of hair. You know it's
Did I
amazing.
recede or did my forehead grow?
Yeah, probably from all the GH your forehead grew. So.
I wish it was from GH.
All right, I'm going to let you go to the gym. John had to go to the vet with his dog, and good luck.
I got to do the show tomorrow with Jimmy.
That's right. The confessional show. I
like
it. I watched it. I like it. I think you guys are good.
Yeah,
good chemistry.
And notice Jimmy's sort of subduing it. I can keep him calm during the show.
Yeah, and Tyler's good too. I like him in the show too. He adds a little bit of goofball effect to the show. You know.
Yep.
All right. Good luck to all the Masters Olympia competitors that are over there in Europe, getting ready to compete on. I think it's Friday and Saturday. Well, it's not Friday. I think it's just. Is it Friday and Saturday, or is it just Saturday? I think it might just be Saturdays over there.
And then they're all going to Dracula's castle after.
There you go. It's going to be a fun weekend. Jake Wood, thank you for financing the Masters Olympia, because I never thought I was going to see another one. I really didn't, because AMI was not allowing anyone to hold that match. They wanted a ridiculous amount of money for the sanction fee. I'm so happy that Jake brought it back, and it's going to be a great show. And I'm going to definitely.
And I didn't get one letter. I didn't get one letter or email asking me to go do it. I'm offended.
Well, you know what? Now that you see it's actually happening, maybe next year you can do it.
Maybe.
Why don't you try to make that a goal of yours? You know,
I'll do the women's with all the transgender.
I'll send you the Essiclean so that you can pump up that small arm.
Thank you. And the big chest. Save it for me, Dave.
Please, George. How did he do it? Yesterday it was 2 inches smaller. Today it's exactly the same size. It's a miracle.
I'll get an implant.
All right. We're going to wrap this up, guys. Thanks for joining us as always, and good luck to the Masters Olympia competitors. We'll see you again next week for another edition of Iron Rage.